Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West. And Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassione.
Western Spring Television, ours it is.
The Thursday edition of Morning Spring is here. We are back, and it's so nice to be back again. And we'd like to say good morning to you, or wherever you are viewing us from, either on channels 190 on the Star Times DTT or on any of our social media handles. We are so glad to know that you're there. Hope you had a wonderful night rest. Yes, it was one here amidst the very cold weather and the showers of blessing. Welcome to Morning Spring, live from Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is. It is another time, and it promises to be exciting as always. It's the Thursday edition, and you know we take you back a couple of years to bring you something worth seeing, and that's how we'll do every Thursday of the week right here. Tunde Idowu remains my name at Irresistible TD on X, welcoming you to Morning Spring, and my dear brother, it's good to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank God for life. We are back here again to do what you know how to do best here on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Femi Ojo is my name. We are very grateful that you could join us all across the world. And we are on our social media platforms as well. And we are live right now on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Today's edition promises to be very, very exciting and interesting as usual. And on this program, we look at critical issues, topical and trending issues in the nation as well and beyond. That's what we do here. Issues of public importance. We have these conversations, but before that, we go through the headlines, that is the papers, to see the major stories that we have, especially on the front page of major dailies today, and that exactly is what is going to happen. And after that, we get talking. Yesterday was the International Day of the Girl Child, and many persons spoken about it. The First Lady of the Nation spoke, that's Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the wife of the President. The United Nations set yesterday aside, you know, as an advocacy day to celebrate the girl child and look at issues facing the girl child, challenges and the way forward. We will look into that and more, of course, with distinguished guests when they come in. But once again, we're happy to have you here. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, we then get to see the stories as it comes on our major dailies for today. Still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, and it is the Morning Spring. Let's get to serve you all the juicy details as making the front pages of the various dailies that we have for today. And I'll kick things off from the pages of the Daily Times. The Daily Times of today has quite a whole lot, and I know this is actually common to virtually all the papers for today. The Daily Times says, identify yourselves To Nigerians, the world now, Obi challenges Tinubu. A couple of writers associated to that story. Uninformed outsider now see every Nigerian as potential fraudster, forger, ID thief. President cannot outsource defense. Okay, on sensitive personal matter. Says public office makes holders life of public interest. Obi is befooled. Befooled. Yeah, APC replies. Quite a whole lot is there. Okay. Wow, that has been generating quite a whole lot in the last couple of weeks.
That's right.
But by and large, another setup about that came up yesterday. Moving further, you have that story under that picture there. Dan Batta's second term in NCC cut short. Maida replaces him. I take that again. Dan Batta's second term in NCC cut short. Maida replaces him. And you have the writer to that story. It says, as FG names new CEOs, additional presidential aides. I looked up for that, the names of the new appointee to NCC, 9 post, what have you? I thought I was going to see Femi Ojo, but by and large, I know he's so comfortable where he is here. So we're not releasing him to anybody. Moving further up on the top strip of the same daily for today, why Nigeria must prioritize investment in infrastructure. That's credited to Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. Why Nigeria must prioritize investment in infrastructure. You want to get to know more of that? Please check it out and check out all the stories from the pages of the Daily Times for today. And that will be all that I have from Daily Times newspaper.
All right, our pick is here from the front page of the Punch for this morning. The Punch for today. And it has these borderline certificate forgery. Atiku Obi protest as BBC fact-checkers clear Tinubu. With writers, BBC says documents confirm President CSU diploma. APC carpet Atiku Obi. PDP LP tackle Tinubu. Say certificate issue tarnishing nation's image. Is a season of tackling here and there. You want to think possibly it's a Champions League night that we're having all this tackling, but then it's politics, always interesting. Air Force launches a new aircraft, awaits attack helicopters. All right, this is reinforcing the armament of the Nigerian military, especially the Nigerian Air Force. Of course, I think this happened yesterday in Ilorin. I think there's a Kwara State governor there having the honors to cut the tape to launch these devices, aircraft. Okay, all the best. The nation has to be kept in one piece, not just any piece, all. That is the way to go. Ohaneze hails Igbo's release. Asks Tinubu to free Kanu. Maybe a case of tit for tat. Ohaneze hails Igbo's release, asks Tinubu to free Kanu. All right, you need the detail rather. Pick up a copy of the paper. That is the Punch. Lagos demolishes structures obstructing drainages. It's a very serious one going on in Lagos, because for like days now or weeks, you've been seeing the governor of Lagos State in his tees and jeans going around Lagos, giving people warnings, stern warnings. Yeah. Spoken English, spoken Yoruba with firm, tone, telling them you have to leave this place. Firstly, it was about those markets across the rail lines, telling them, for your safety, you guys have to move. Then he gave them ultimatum. After that, the task force swooped into action. But then today, sometimes, who we are in this nation there, it's when these warnings are given, either by the state governor himself or in any capacity, by the way, and when actions are not taken by the people involved, we have nowhere to go, we are just managing ourselves, we have to make a living, then they cry, and then sometimes they beg, and all of it. And then you see the task force when they swoop into action and they begin to carry people's wares, there is a way it makes you feel like, oh, these persons, why are they doing this? Or these persons with these wares possibly wear not more than 10,000 naira that the person is using to feed. And then you see people wailing, women, men, oh, please, this person has dispossessed of wares and the rest of it. But the thing is, you are warned initially, and that keeps happening.
You know, it's I don't know, it's just a part of us, that culture. We're so stubborn as human beings. Because if you have a dog now, probably that dog pees in your sitting room and you smack that dog, believe you me, that dog will not repeat that same thing again. Now, I remember it boils down to when former governor of your state, late now, Ajimobi, there, gave a stern warning that around that OJ axis, where you see people even putting their wares close to the tip of the road. A trailer lost control one day, ran over some people. And they built this complex at Scout Camp. That, look, you guys move there. He doesn't want to see anybody there. After 2 days, those guys were back.
The people are back. That you know, it becomes very honestly, and eyesore, and then you see people wailing, and then you might want to force. I mean,
start blaming the governor.
Not really blame the governor, but to call and say, please, can you temper mess? But the thing is, if he gives these people another 1 week or another 1 year, many of them will still not leave that place. But then he's been really talking tough, going through shanties, telling people to leave waterways. And the thing is, we are talking about structures that are obstructing drainages. Is this same us, we, them, that will complain when these floods start ravaging properties and taking lives just because some persons have refused to do what is right? We hope we will all do that, both on the government side and especially we as the citizens to do what is necessary. Diphtheria kills 600, sadly, in 19 states. NPHCDA recommends face mask. Here we go.
There we go again.
Sadly. And on the top strip, lower inflation, protect poor citizens. IMF tells Nigeria. All right, the National Monetary Fund talking there. There are a set of Nigerians who feel they shouldn't be talking to us. Mind your business, by the way. Let's mind us. But then in international financing, of which Nigeria is part of, you get to see some of these, you know, advices as well. Now, EFCC recovers 27 billion naira, $19 million, probes ex-governors, ex-ministers. All right? We hope it's as it is as they have said it is. You know, as it's not just a media thing, because people want to say you have recovered 27 billion naira. Then that should be injected to our economy. It should serve. That's it. $90 million. Well, let's see it. Not just just give us stories again, but you know, kudos to them and saying they are probing ex-governors. So do you think they have the grit to go all the way? Because we have been here before.
We have. You see,
to go after ex-governors, irrespective of their political affiliation.
It's ruled for me, if that can happen. Aside being biased,
and not just on the face of the paper,
not just something they'll take with levity and do the thorough scrutiny. I think was it here we read it, or probably during one of our news broadcasts I took on that about one Chinese man who took bribe for FIFA to something. The guy is going to jail for the rest of his life. And that is why things work out there. Things work out there because they don't toy with corruption. But by and large, let's just leave it.
One way even ask, should EFCC announce that they are going after governors, ex-governors? Just do your job.
Femi, you
are announcing.
We've said this countless times.
Like you are telling a thief, we are coming.
Look
after you.
This is something that it annoys me. I see this as propaganda. Why don't you just do the needful?
Do the diligence.
Leave the rest to us. We have to either say, "Oh, you've done well," or you've done well on the other side.
And the thing is, when you tell ex-governors or whoever, those top guys, that okay, we are probing you, And then most of the times, you just see those kind of slap in the wrist kind of prosecution or judgment. Then you take them to court, and then you now ask court to give you some days to prepare for investigation. Why
did you do the needful first before coming to the wall to make this? This is the same thing. EFCC does this, DSS does this, and that's theirs is even more annoying because they are a secret.
The whole
police.
work.
They should do things underneath, and then once you get foothold of what you're talking about, then blow it out. But not that we are coming to you because you.
All right, we get there because we've seen situations. Diligent people are there.
Absolutely.
All across intelligence agencies and security agencies as well. But we've seen situations in which the guys at the other side, the FBI, that doesn't mean they too, they are infallible or they are corruption free. But then they want to go after you. They take their time. If it takes 6 months, 1 year, even before the warrant, they do their investigations, get everything in their palms. By the time they go get a warrant, by the time they come after you, the proofs are there. You see yourself, see what you have done, and you have your day in court. Not just to come after you are coming, and then we make all those, they grant a world press conference, this and this and that, and then you come after the person goes to court to go and take an ex parte motion. You people should not come after me. You know how these things
So what else now? It reminds me of the Nigerian, the fraudster that was arrested in Dubai a couple of years ago. And we asked him, Abbas Rahman, the guy, the way he flaunts his things and he shows up and everything. And I looked at it and look, they must have been watching all what he was doing. And the day they went to bust him, it was in the middle of the night.
That's all.
When you were probably snoring. And
they didn't take him to court to go and be looking for 21 days, 42 days of investigation. No.
We'll get that.
You have your time, Oga, move. You have your day in court. That's the way it works. We'll get there. But I think the there or that time is now to do the proper thing. So that these guys are not just living life because they know their way around. Or the prosecuting agencies will not do due diligence. That's my take on that. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch for this morning, it is unconstitutional for states to regulate mining, says federal government. You see the picture of the minister there in charge of mining, Mr. Dele Alake. That will be all from the Punch front page for today.
Let me take my next set of headlines from the pages of The Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper has that big bold headline as stated by virtually all the dailies. So I'll just flip through quickly. Nigeria leads demand for Africa's debt relief from IMF. And you have that rider that says Eriton Wood Institution rejects blanket cancellation. Why inflation is rising by World Bank. What do you make of that? Debt leading the demand for Africa's debt relief from IMF. Well, well, remember during Baba Obasanjo's days when we had that debt cancellation. But looking at Brenton Wood here saying they're actually rejecting blanket cancellation. Probably, hey, we won't cancel. We'll probably, let's do it this way. You're probably paying so amount of money, a plan,
something has to give.
But cancellation, we might not get that. But by and large, let's see what it looks like. But then if this is cancelled, if it's taken away, or there is a new structure, I hope we won't get into more debt.
Let's just hope. Let's just hope or think that this is cancelled. But then, how come we will still go? Because we have been here before several. Sometimes you think nothing is really new in Nigeria. It's just a reoccurrence of either good things or bad things that are happening. Is most likely we still go cap in hand to go seek another debt. And then after some time, years, we then come to our creditors and say, can you guys please forgive us as this is and let it go? Because this is the thing. But we hope as a Nigerians, we are owing. The nation is owing, maybe not personally. But then if there is a way these things can be relieved, debt relief, if not outright cancellation, let's just have these things removed off our neck and then so that we can have some things in our pocket.
I left a tweet on my X handle this morning. I said, oh, thank God it's another day. Get ready for another story.
Good one.
Good one, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. The red strip just above the main plate there Tinubu holds Idowu in high esteem, says Shetima. Okay, and federal government orders road contractors back to sites. Work begins on 60 projects. Okay, and that picture there, you have the picture of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier Buba Marwa.
That two of them are former
Lagos State, one administrator.
One a Milad,
yeah.
the other one a governor.
Oh boy. No, he's really done well with the NDLEA ever since he assumed office. We wish him the very best. Moving on, just below that same picture there, Tinubu needs no reintroduction. Okay, Tinubu needs not reintroduce himself, says APC. And you have the writer there, it says BBC, no evidence of certificate forgery by president. Okay. Moving to the bottom strip there, illegal buildings pulled down in Lekki, just as Femi rightly stated from the pages of the Punch newspaper as well. Why no panel yet on Ayeda Tiwa? That's going to Ondo State there. But on the top strip, why governors can't ban mining by Alake? All right. You want to know why? It has that writer that says only federal government has rights. Wow. The land belongs to the federal government.
No, the land belongs to the state.
To the state.
The minerals
belongs to the federal government. So where's
that's
the
the
mineral?
irony.
The mineral
the
is
land.
on the land that's owned by the state.
Yeah, in the land. It's going to be quite confusing.
Don't let me.
Actually, states has the land,
but the mineral resources
belongs to the FG for the federal government.
All right.
And that's one sector that should, if actually we take very seriously, it has the potential to really, do a lot beyond just the threatening away of these minerals by mostly foreign companies.
We'll get there. All right. Procurement fraud. EFCC recovers 27 billion naira and $19 million. The writer there says ex-governors under probe.
Okay.
Which ex-governors? Please, EFCC and the team, who are the ex-governors you're talking about here?
You need to know them?
Nigerians need to know that.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's the irony of all this. We don't want to just see stories.
Nigerians would like to know them, but more importantly, Nigerians would like to know how the prosecution is going. How serious?
It has always been a part of this system that if you're not part of the ruling party, either this president or any of the ruling parties that
is in power,
then you probably get named. But once you're part of a ruling party, you probably will just go scot-free. But that is not what it should look like.
Actually, somebody has told us, a former governor who was a national party chairman has told us before, join our party and your sins are forgiven.
Right, that'll be all from the pages of the Nation newspaper for this morning.
All right, from there we move to the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune for this morning. Tinubu certificate. Atiku presses on. Obi weighs in. APC hits back. All right. That's quite interesting. More like punchlines. Atiku pressing in. Obi weighs in. APC hits back. Now, with riders, Obi to Tinubu, tell Nigerians your true identity. Another one, follow my example. Atiku tells president. Right. Another one, you have no regard for judiciary. APC tells Obi and Atiku there. And of course, you have a picture of some students of federal government, can barely see that, girls' college rather, possibly commemorating the World Girls' Day thing. And Deputy Governor's impeachment, Ondo CJ, Rights Assembly. And Mambila, Zungeru Power Project. EFCC recovers houses in Lagos, Abuja, Cross Rivers. Alleges funds meant for project diverted through BDCs. This is a Bureau de Change. And Lagos to increase Blue Line trips from 12 to 52 from Monday. Federal government to partially commercialize dams under its 12 river basins. Minister, okay, let's make sure we have that. The policy or the plans or the structure behind that well done. Because dams are not things you joke with. Or somebody will just abandon because there is no fund or somebody is not monitoring. All right. 8 years after, 2 pipeline vandals who killed 7 DSS officers in Lagos convicted. And peace, not negotiable in Benue. Army ones, even in Osun, even in Taraba,
anywhere,
in Cross Rivers, in Rivers, in Kebbi State, in Sokoto, in Borno. Peace is not negotiable. We must all live together in peace. And if we have miscreants and criminals under whatever guise trying to truncate that particular peaceful atmosphere, I think the army and the military knows what to do. The police, these guys should be rooted off our lands. We have the right to stay together in peace. And anyone that opposes that definitely is not an enemy. I mean, he's not a friend of the country, being that as it may. All right. And the top street there, fear of scarcity, marketers unable to load petroleum products. That's coming from IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, saying fear scarcity, marketers unable to load petroleum products rather, was happening. Why are they not being able to load this product? Get yourself a copy of the Tribune. 6, a joint security task force to tackle crude oil theft. This seems not to be going away. Who are these guys? Are they spirits? Do they descend from one realm and come to the earth, wreak this havoc, and then return? My guess is as good as yours. Maybe not. And obviously there are collaborations in some sectors that is making these guys not to be going away and still wreaking these havoc. Whoever they are, they should be seriously dealt with. Let's get serious. No to third funds intervention in private universities as to Tunde, you know what third fund does? That's tertiary education trust fund. And they, you know, it's a body put together to help the tertiary institutions, and they have been doing a lot. Hardly can you get to any school, either state or federal schools, without seeing their hands.
Absolutely.
But then now, ask you, maybe there is a talk, I think there is a talk about 10 fund extending their hand, in as much as about education, to private institutions. And as we are saying no. Your take?
Basically, I think I was.
You think once it's private, they should handle their business?
To a large extent, they should they should handle their business. But by and large, there should be.
But it's about education.
There should be a commitment. Probably a 20-30% support
to help them.
To help them. Basically, we have quite a whole lot of federal universities whereby they need 100% attention at this point in time.
State-owned universities as well. Some of them, they are helped.
It should be able to go around.
But maybe a small percentage to the private.
I would say it's small. Something worth supporting. Because
but they are saying no. Let them handle their business. Maybe they feel they are collecting huge money in terms of school fees in the first place. So why help them?
Nigerians, these are things that happened in more developed nations. You have that support by and large from government around.
Government helping private institutions?
Yeah, some of them in some of this development, you have some quota that goes to some of this institutions. But that's what it just took me to that point whereby even if it's 20%, a 30%, a 10%, something
they should
to support,
intervene.
Because by and large, if you have to get access to own something, you still go to the federal government, and the federal government looks at what you have, your plans, and everything.
That's right.
But
that's right.
You should be able to at least.
We should have this conversation one day, because one will say, why should TED fund intervene when a federal school possibly is the schools that have increased their fees now, the highest is maybe 200,000 or thereabout, and then normally you have private institutions paying as high as
600.
600, 700, 1 million, depending on the institution. So they want to think, in as much you can charge 1 million. Why should the government help? But then we should have that conversation one day. That will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today.
Without wasting too more time, let me just see what it looks like from the pages of This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper, the big bold caption there, Obi wants more on Tinubu. BBC says no evidence of forgery. Article differs. And the writer there says, President has no identity problem. APC replies opposition as controversy deepens. Right there. And strengthening public security. You have the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar there to your left, and Kwara State Governor and Chairman Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, Abdurrahman Abdul Razak, during the handing over of the Diamond 62 aircraft to the members of the Nigerian Army and Air Force, rather, yesterday in Kwara State, Ilorin. Okay. Other stories on the top strip. Bayelsa, INEC assures of electronic voting. Okay. All right. Other story, there's a black strip there. Tinubu appoints new CEOs for NIPOS, NCC, NITDA, two other agencies. And on the top strip there, NUPRC optimistic ExxonMobil, Seplat, NNPC will follow due process in asset sale deal. And you have the writer there that says stalemate is commercial, not regulatory. That's a little bit of grammar, but it's it will be well understood if you pick up the papers, this day newspaper, and you check it out at this point. That will be all from This Day newspaper.
All right, let's take it back down memory lane. The Guardian, Lagos, Saturday, October 12, 1985. Wow. That's 38 years ago.
38 years ago.
Yeah. The Guardian, today in history. And you have the bold picture there of the late Owele Onitsha. That's Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe at Dodam Barracks. Yeah, you can see his picture there. This was 1985. All right. The mystery, and you have that headline there. Minister goes into action. Mystery transfer of fertilizer funds. And Zeke says it did not cost Nigeria. Was he alleged to have cost Nigeria at some point? And then it's been reported here 38 years ago that it did not, cost Nigeria. And U.S. warplanes intercept Egyptian jetliner with pirates. All right, those are the major stories there. 2.43 billion IMF loans for poor African nations. IMF, 1985. Today, October 12, 2023. IMF is still dishing out instructions. Tunde that account for something.
Yeah, it does.
And then it means, we'll get to see about that. That's The Guardian 38 years ago. And these, on this point, you call it quit.
Yeah, but before you go, there's something, there's a bottle and a cup just beside it. I know my director will probably know better. I must have seen that bottle, that type, 1985. He does know such bottles.
Okay, I think you and Deji, when it comes, might have something to say, or or iron out. Yeah, that's it, and that will be all from this session, the headline segment on the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, the conversation will kickstart. You want to be a part of it. You don't want to go nowhere. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was an educationist and advocate of women's rights. She was recognized for her vitriolic comments against colonial policy of taxation as it affected the Nigerian women. Bere, as fondly addressed by her women followers, Funmilayo championed the initiation of universal adult suffrage, which gave an unprecedented leeway for women to contest elective offices and power to exercise voting rights. Married to a foremost educationist and teacher, Israel Oladotun Ransom Kuti, the first president of Nigeria Union of Teachers, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was the mother of children who inherited her spirit of activism. Olufela and Be Ololari, the former, a renowned musical legend. She was the first female student of Abeokuta Grammar School and the first female to own and drive a car in Nigeria. The award recipient of Member of Order of Nigeria MON and Lenin Peace Prize, was born on 25th October 1900 and was killed on 13th April 1978 by rampaging road soldiers in Lagos. Western Spring Television identifies Funmilayo Ransom Kuti as a watershed character in history. Hilas Olayinka Herbert Macaulay, politician, nationalist and journalist, was the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer, surveyor and architect. Born on November 14, 1864, Herbert Macaulay was the founder of Nigeria's National Democratic Party, the first political party in pre-independent Nigeria. Scholars of Nigeria's political history describe Herbert Macaulay as the intellectual bulldog of 19th century Nigerian nationalist movement, in the deference to his qualities as founder and leader of two foremost political parties, Nigeria National Democratic Party (NNDP) and National Council of Nigerian Citizens (NCNC). His matchless versatility in party organization and control kept the British colonialists on their toes in the entire span of his active life. After his death on 7th May 1946, Herbert Macaulay remains a hero of his country, which recognized his anti-colonial struggles. Today, Nigeria's 10 naira coin bears his oval face and trademark moustache. Western Spring Television identifies Herbert Macaulay as a major character in history. Kiriji War, also known as Ekiti-Parapa War, was waged among Yoruba main ethnic groups which emerged from the ruins of the falling Oyo Empire that were desperate to replace the awesome powers hitherto wielded by the Alaafin of Oyo. The Kiriji War is defined as a conflict of confederacy and unitary political system championed by Yorubas of different socio-economic and political interests. The Ibadan military aristocrats felt they deserved a dominant position for saving Yoruba land from being totally submerged by the Fulanis by their victory in Osogbo War of 1840 and Ijaye War of 1862. Kiriji War, that took its name from the booming motor sounds of European arms, festered for so long because the Industrial Revolution in Europe provoked high standards of slaves. The 16-year Civil War also caused the emergence of new powerful kingdoms like Ibadan and the rise of powerful personalities like Oluyole, Ogunmola, Kuromi, Latosha, Shodeke, Fabumi, and Ogedengbe. One of the fallouts of Kiriji War was the birth
All right, thank you for staying with us. It's still Morning Spring right here from Western Spring Television. And the conversation is about to begin in earnest. Now, well, let me just bring us up to speed as to what we'll be talking about. October 11th of every year is commemorated as the International Day of the Girl Child. Now, it is an annual and internationally recognized observance on the 11th of October, and it empowers girls and amplifies their voices. Like its adult version, International Women's Day, which is always celebrated on the 8th of March of every year. the girl child, acknowledged the important power and potential of adolescent girls by encouraging the opening up of more opportunities for them. Quite a whole lot. The girl child, how important are they? What value do they portend? Do they have that opportunity of equality? So many things we'll be talking about. Yesterday, the First Lady spoke at an event about the girl child. Let's first of all take a couple of highlights from that event, and we will be back here in the studio. Stay with us.
Our girls are the change makers, the innovators, and the dreamers who will shape our world. To my girls all over Nigeria, dream big and positively, because the dream will keep you alive and keep you going. Let's support their dreams, for their rights are our future. All hands are not equal, so no matter the level you are, it will be very good you learn something like a skill, but don't forget your education.
All right, that was the First Lady there, and a minister talking about the commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child that was held yesterday. It is set aside for every girl child by the United Nations. You know, it's been said that give girls an opportunity to lead by putting them in the front of change efforts and hearing their voices, responding to their tasks, to their ask or questions, and welcoming them in decision-making spaces. And it is one of the ways to invest in the future that believes in girls' agency. These were the words of the United Nations commemorating yesterday. And from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, he said, women and girls can lead us to a fairer future. Yeah. And let us amplify girls' voices and recommit to working together to build a world where every girl can lead and thrive. That is from Antonio Guterres. And the theme is for yesterday, or for this year rather, was invest in girls' rights, our leadership, our well-being. One thing is like a common denominator here, leadership. Leadership, having women, females, girls in leadership position. We have, you know, to talk really to the stakeholders. We have two young ladies here to have this conversation with us, and they are here with us as well. Babrella, Onwualu, I want to believe I'm correct. Good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good to be here. I'm so happy. I'm so glad to be here.
All right.
Pleasure, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Deborah Soladoye.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here as well. And happy International Day of the Girl Child.
Thank you.
To you ladies.
Oh, okay. Now,
As
now
well.
you put it,
Definitely not to you. Possibly your wife or your daughters. Yeah. But
Yes.
all right. Here we go. The theme for this year is invest in girls' rights, our leadership, and our well-being. Let me start with Deborah. The International Day of the Girl Child. How significant was it, and is it, and will always be for you?
Well, it is an interesting topic for me, or this is an interesting question. Oh, this is an interesting question for me. I really like that. Now, it's very significant because it is a day we celebrate, we come together to talk about the problems of the girl child, celebrate the girl child, and how to improve on everything concerning the girl child. Looking at this year's theme is also, in fact, for me, it's one of the best so far. Because looking at it, investing in the girl child's right, the leadership, the well-being. So it means it's talking about enough of
Covers everything.
the mouths, enough of lip service, enough of us just coming together, talking about one or two things, and then sharing this and that. Enough of that. It is now time to invest in the girl child. It is time to invest in the right of the girl child, the well-being of the girl child, the education of the girl child, everything concerning the girl child. You know, this thing is just like you have a thought, and you there's a way that if if you don't romance the thought, you don't elaborate on it, you won't go further. It's just like saying, I want this thing, but then you don't go back to think about it, you don't invest in it, you don't get it. So I think the same way it is for this thing. It is enough of us talking. Let's get to work. Let's go into action.
So, succinctly put, you think this is very perfect for the girl child?
Of course.
At this season?
At the season.
Babrella, you think so?
No, of course it is perfect. For me, I actually think, because it's a yearly event.
Yeah.
So I think being that it's a yearly event, it just reminds us at what point we are, how far we've come, and how further we need to go in this drive. It's a battle between, okay, we're asking for equality, we're asking for better education, for proper care, health care, no child marriage for the girls, and all that. So all these things, like this yearly event, reminds us, tells us, okay, this is what we are driving at. This is where we are. And if we have not gone far, it tells us that, okay, you need to, we need to do more. We need to remember why we are doing this. And then the girl child, they need protection. They need the fight, the struggle. Of course, most of us came out from where we had to do our own battles
They need protection.
ourselves.
From who? Protected from what?
Everything.
The society. They need protection from the society, the environment. No, all children do. But the girl child is more vulnerable to all this happening. We have communal conflicts that who protects them? And this doesn't just affect their lives, their mentality, it doesn't traumatize them, just traumatize. That's why they need health care. It doesn't just traumatize them mentally, because it's affecting. Okay, let's go to the north, where they have to close down schools, and then they don't get proper education and all that. So this tells us, when we celebrate the things like this, it says our leadership, our well-being. Well-being covers every aspect of the girl child, every aspect. The feeding, nutrition, protection, safety, healthcare.
All right. All right. Ladies, let me just come, both of you at this. I know you guys will not say your girls, your ladies, right? Now,
Okay.
let's break it down. Give us an understanding from your own analysis. Who is a girl child, and what is the value of the girl child? Debbie, let me start with you. Who do you think a girl child is?
A girl child is a strong child.
Strong.
Yes. A child from her first day of birth to her 40s, her 50s. We are all girl child or girl children, as the case may be. A strong person, a built person, a person that, if provided with the needed skills, training, would become the kind of would actually fulfill the right potential, fulfill the potential, and build the kind of environment and build the nation we actually all dream of. Because trust me, investing in the girl child is like investing in your nation. So the girl child is more of a nation builder.
She is.
In fact, for me, investing in the girl child is just it. We need the girl child in every aspect, for our economy, for national development, for family development. Imagine having a woman or a child, in the case of the North now, a child training a child. That's what my mom calls it. A 14-year-old child having another child.
Teenage mother.
Teenage mother. How do you expect that child to actually train the new child? And in the long run, this falls back on the nation. Because if this person is not well trained, you can't give what you don't have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing will be passed down, and in the end, everything crumbles. And if we have 10, 20, 30, 40, then what happens to the nation? So the girl child is a nation builder.
What is the value of the girl child? Babrella.
Okay, let's
I
start
know she
this.
mentioned on that part that
She has said a lot of things, and I feel like she has said it all. But let me make a picture. Let me paint a picture.
Please do.
Just like she said, you have a mother that is taking care of a child. Every child, every leader comes from a woman.
Okay.
Every person in one profession or the other comes from a woman. Anybody that is going to educate students, like I said, anyone from any profession comes from a woman. So you need to teach women how to groom these children that are coming to life, because they are the ones that will groom the children. Because if children are properly groomed from home, won't have these issues we are going through.
Totally agree with that.
If parents had given, okay, let me just say molesters, sexual abuse, I would not blame them, because of course teenage mothers, what do they have to teach? If they've been shown the right path, of course the children, like we said, girl child is a girl from the age of 0 to 18, although I would like to say 20, because at 18 they are still vulnerable. So I'd like to say 20. So like she now has to groom herself. So from then, parents will groom, teachers will groom, the environment has to groom, and they have to keep the child safe, because everything that happens around the child from home informs the child, trains the child. So that's why the work is not just in the hands of the parent alone. The society has every attribute in it.
Babrella, sticking with you, you've repeatedly said something in this course now about the girl child being protected, being, and I'd like to ask now, let's start from there. Protection. When we say every child, either male or female, should be protected because of the vulnerability. In fact, all of us should be protected. It's only in stages and capacities that these things are different. Let me ask categorically, what are the challenges of the girl child, especially in Nigeria?
Okay.
You've made mention of across North, but what we say is not only the North, as in the nation.
Yes, it's everywhere.
In the nation,
in the nation.
As it stands today, what would you say are the challenges? And that question will go to Deborah as well. So for you.
Okay, let me just give like a brief countdown of what the challenges are.
Yes, please.
We have educational challenges. We have because there's yes of the government to say they've handled that. There's public schools for girls and children to attend, but then are there enough facilities? Are there enough what's the word? Equipment, yes. Are there enough equipment? Are they well-trained teachers to implement all this? Then when you don't have all that, that's when costs come in. Because then a child will try to get learning materials to try to improvise or try to take and add to whatever little they gain from this unexperienced teachers, uneducated teachers. And some teachers are so uneducated to the fact that, of course, they begin to discriminate against girl child. What are you doing in school? You're supposed to be out there becoming a mother, selling things, doing house jobs.
Informing the teachers.
Yes. Like the social norm. It's bad enough that we thought we've gone so far from all these old ideas that a girl should be home, a girl should be the homekeeper. Yes, in the kitchen, cooking and all that. But we still see that some people still have that thought. It's still rampant. And then we should be off there. We should be where we should all be investing on. Yes, I agree. Invest on both child. Protect both child. But do not make it, that's why we ask for equality. Do not make one above the other. Because that's where you make mistakes. You think, okay, the boy should do something. But who trains the boy at the end of the day? He gets married to somebody who isn't properly trained, because and then give birth to somebody, another boy, as you have chosen. Let's just say it has been chosen that it's another boy. So if that woman can't properly train that boy, what becomes of society?
Sorry, let me add to what she just said. I think some 3 years ago, something happened in my house. We have a family friend that they had 3 girls, 1 boy, and the boy happened to be a twin, and they came to our house. Before that day, I think 2 weeks before the day they came to our house, the eldest daughter of that family had called me, Auntie Debbie, Masakuro Leo. Sorry, I'm using my...
you have to run away from
She says, I'm going to run and leave the house.
Why?
I said, why? She said, I'm practically serving my younger brother in the house. And I said, why? She said, if they are in the sitting room, like her dad and her brother, and she is in the kitchen, the father will actually call her to come and pick something he wants to pick in the sitting room.
And while the boy is
while
there.
the boy is there. And the mentality of
they will pin it, yes, they will pin it down.
He's also a, like my mom would say, schooling is different from education. And it is so terrible. And they came to our house. So when I got home, I told my mom was like, I'll talk to her. Then 2 weeks afterwards, they came to our house. The boy threw rice on the floor. And the next thing the mother did was to call his twin sister to go and carry the broom. I was coming out from the room and I had that. I'm like, who threw the thing away? It was Kende. So why are you calling Tayo? The woman was like, he doesn't know how to do anything. You know? What does he know how to do? Okay. I'm like, Tayo, Kende, go carry the broom. So, and do you expect a boy like this to grow up and become, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Responsible.
So, responsible.
So the girl child is now a manual laborer in her own home.
Yeah.
In her home.
Why do you think that the girl child don't get that equal right, just like the men, and what can be done to change these dynamics?
Okay, first of all, I still want to go back to his question before I come there. I think part of the problem of the girl child starts from the very first day she's born.
How so?
Talk about for some female genital mutilation in some cultures for just no reason. They just for religious belief, nothing, no added value, just for their own traditional beliefs. For some, now if you are born into an educated parent, good for you.
Yeah, you're lucky.
And in the context of Nigeria, let's bring it down home. In the context of Nigeria, in fact, being born a girl, you are already one bar of the ladder.
So
let's be factual.
Yeah.
You're already one bar off the ladder. Then if
How
you're
do you
born
mean one bar off the ladder?
That's 1-0. Yes, because you're a girl. Then if you're born to a poor family, that's another bar off. If you're born to families that are probably hold some kind of funny religious belief, that's another bar off. So all these things are challenges that some girls or people or girls, some girls in some area faces, and they are a threat, not just to our people, not just to a family, but to us collectively as a nation. No proper education, no training, it's a lot of problem, poverty, and to say the fact, we're not training the girl child is recycling poverty. That's the honest truth.
Exactly.
We are recycling poverty, basically. That's just the honest truth. Not giving them the basic needs, not giving them the basic knowledge, not giving them the basic skills. It's as good as recycling poverty.
I mean, sorry, before you, Babrella, comment, I want to take a cue from what you just stated and what the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres stated yesterday, that do you think that the female folks, I'm not asking that, do you think that the female folks can lead us to a fairer future? Because I said with the girls and the women and the girls, we can get a fairer future. Do you think the female folks can get us to a fairer future?
I totally agree with that.
Babrella, you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that, because there's a tag they use anytime a woman runs for presidency. They say we are too soft. They say we are too soft. But it's that emotional intelligence that gets us to train the child. And in fact, there's this saying that goes around: if a man is the president, his wife is actually the ruler. I'm not saying
that's what you guys do.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that when we groom a child, whether we be the leader, I'm talking about a woman, directly or indirectly, we give them this training. We tell them how to win wars without actually being in the battlefield. Like it's something that men don't understand, that this emotional intelligence that we have is actually a strength, not a soft.
Not a weakness.
Not a weakness. Yes, not a weakness. That's why we use it we train them in all ways. Because my mom would say, I'm training you to be independent. I'm training you to think, not just like, because you say think like a man. Yes, of course, you think like a man, you act like a woman. Or you think like a man, of course, you think like a man, acts like a woman. And then you make, because most of these
balance.
things, yes, most of this thing is, we use the persuasive power. No, like we use the persuasive power. There's a lot of rules. I'm not going to say we are deceitful, we are pretenders, but there are a lot of things
You're not going to say that.
No,
Well,
I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that. I'm only going to tell you that it's just sometimes it's needed to win a battle, and then it's just when you impute it, it's just like there's different characters. No, there's different characters inside of us. You just know that when it's needed, you bring it out. This is what we teach the children, because you can't have an educated woman come out to tell you battle. We will not have. I don't think if we have well-trained girls, well-trained parents, would not have all these conflicts going around.
All right.
Communal conflicts, all this terrorism. Of course, who bettered those children?
A woman.
A woman. That means they were not properly trained. Why were they not properly trained? Their mothers were probably not shown the proper way to train them.
All right, let's take this conversation forward. I remember something that happens most times, especially around us here, when you hear that somebody has given birth and people are happy, you're put to bed, and you say, is he a friend? You know, I'm translating literally, you know, meaning, is it a boy or a girl? And you say, thank God, congratulations. And when you say it's a boy, you see, thank God. Yes. And most of these things, I dare say, most of these expressions are done by women themselves. I dare tell you that the way the woman or the mother of the infant or the grandmother or the mother of the groom, the father of the child will shout, women.
You would not.
Now, this is where I'm laying. Some have laid this thing that, is it really about patriarchy? The men chauvinism that people believe is men that rules, is whatever they say. Because some persons will still say women, we're not really talking about women here, but then you can't talk about girls without talking about women. Really, she has talked about some saying the women belong in the kitchen. The former president said something like that in a humorous way, by the way. And then some thinking, you are a girl, you start giving birth, so why don't you just be somewhere trading and preparing? Some will still say, so my question is this, is it really men in our society, the patriarchy thing, the men chauvinism thing, that is the challenge?
So let me
actually women, or women are the real problems of women
Themselves.
Okay.
Let me start with Debbie. Yeah, let me start with Debbie.
Okay, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I think it's our orientation, especially back in Africa. The problem is about, when it's a male child, it's going to live on with your name, and the girl, she has to go somewhere else. In fact, I think in some part of Nigeria, they go as far as not allowing the girl child inherit properties. Yeah. Because she's a girl, she can't build in some parts, she can't do this, she can't do that because she's a girl. Forgetting the fact that when the so-called family or when the so-called father was trying to gather this thing, the girl was denied as much as the brother. Do you understand? So now I think it's an orientation that has been passed down over time. And sometimes these things might not necessarily be true. And so as a result of that, some people has hold this as a law and principle. Nothing shakes it. And I think it's really time we have to go past it's a men's word to it is our word.
But is it? Is it a men's word?
That's what I'm saying.
A woman's word?
We have to go past it's a men's word to it is our word. Collectively, we can make this better. You bring your quota, he brings his, I bring mine, and you bring yours. And we need to understand that we have different strengths and qualities. Bringing this together makes the whole puzzle complete.
All right.
Like I said,
Yeah.
the woman ruling, the man on the seat. Okay, so like she has said, it's been passed on from ages, where it's already ingrained in each woman that it's important to give birth to a male child, so he can carry on with the family's name, and then with the society, of course, the male ego and all that gets out there, and then you'll be like, okay. Of course, it's with the mentality growing, the way the family of the husband treat you when you don't give birth to a male child.
It's quite different.
It's quite different. In fact, they brush out to get another wife because they feel that the female child is insignificant. So with that mentality, when you even have a daughter that gets married, you will tell her, okay, eat this, eat that, so that you can give birth to a bouncing baby boy. That training too, we get into our own. That's how it goes. Through generation.
Sorry.
Hold on, she was going to land.
So that's how it goes through generation, and until we got here, and now we are trying. That's what it's about.
So is it tradition or society?
It's society. It's society. It's not about tradition. It's not like there's a specific tradition that does this. It's the society.
Although tradition differs.
Yeah, because tradition differs. The society itself has made it so important that the male child, even in the north, in the Yoruba land, in the Igbo land, the male child is important. And they are different. They all have different traditions. They all have different cultural background. So, like, the society itself had made it important that the male child is this one. The male child, and now man ain't go take care of house now. Yes, at the end of the day, they will say it's the male that will take care of the house. The woman will go for that, get married, have our own family.
And talking about mentality, some men actually go with the mindset that once you're a woman, then you're automatically beneath them. You have men like that sees every woman just beneath them because of how they were trained, which is also a major issue. And it still boils back to training, the orientation, what has been passed down over time.
And because an argument can come up to say, what if the mother does not survive and the husband is the one to train the child? Yes, if the husband was properly trained, of course you would give the same training to the child that he's bringing up.
Ladies,
by the way, we've had fathers who possibly lost their wives and did a very good job on their children.
So let's celebrate their mothers.
But by and large, at the women folk, the women world, are you guys doing enough to really hold the bull by the horn? Looking at some great women across board, we've seen former finance minister who is now the WTO president. We've had former president in Liberia.
And
Selin Helif. We've had Johnson,
former
Liberian president. We've had quite a. We look at the American
Dora
vice president. Dora Akunyili, former NAFDAC chairman. Look, yes, but by and large, if we look at it around holistically, do you think the female folks, you guys are even doing enough? We had a presidential candidate in 1 year who wanted to vie for president, and she got only 1 vote. Where were you guys? Are the female folks doing enough at this moment? Do you think you guys are doing
especially
enough?
as this year's theme has to do with leadership as well?
Okay, so let me just say this. Of course, we would support any person who is ready to change the world, who is ready to put effort. There's no woman out there who say, okay, this woman is trying to change the world. She's actually bringing out ideas or solutions to problems that are actually visible. Solutions to problems that are actually visible, and a woman out there or ladies out there would say, no, we are sitting down, we are not going to support. There's no woman, no educated woman, no woman who had training, who understands government, who understands the problem of the country, that would say, okay, this person is providing solution, but we like to go to the male gender because he's the male gender, because he knows the the best. So I think if that happened, it's only because I don't want to have to say this.
We're just talking about leadership across board. Actually, it's not just about being president or being governor. Leadership across board at boardrooms, at ministries, at NGOs. Everybody doing fantastically for themselves.
There's this Natasha.
Yeah.
She's the Senate. She's a senator in Kogi State.
Yeah.
No, Natasha is doing great, and there's no time you'd say she's going for any position that I will not be there to vote for her because she's doing
capacity or because she's a woman.
Not just
Babrella.
because she, not just because
Let's
she's
say the
doing
obvious then.
no, not just because she's a woman, because she's doing things that are visible. She actually knows the problems that the individual and citizens of Kogi State are facing, and she's trying as much as she can, because you can't get it all right.
Yeah,
you
putting
can
herself
only
out there.
She's putting herself
in
out
leadership
there.
position,
Yes,
yeah.
she's putting herself out there, standing up to the people that are trying to weigh her down, and then getting her voice out there, supporting the people that really matter.
Right.
And that's why anybody would support her.
Yeah, Deborah.
I think when it comes to that, we are doing, we will still do, and we still have to do. For some, they've been able to go out of the box, shatter the ceiling, and for some, they are still at the end of the bar. So for me, it's not about taking the bull by the horn once, until we reach out to every girl child out there. We have to continue to do. We are doing, there's no doubt about that. We are trying our best, no doubt about that. But there is still so much to be done.
All right.
And when it comes to the leadership aspect, I think, like she rightly pointed out, if as a woman, you go out there and you do the needful, even men will support you.
Exactly.
Let me give you an example of that. When I was serving, there's this notion at the CDS, at my CDS.
You mean the NYSC?
Yes.
Okay.
That a woman cannot be their president. And before that, I actually had to go and look into the history of that CDS. And I realized, okay, there have been about two ladies being their president and blah, 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 blah. But because, like, before my time, there were like 3 or 4, 5 male presidents. So I think that has made them feel, it has to be a man
thing.
And I looked at everything. I only had, and before I actually came for NYC, or before I began my NYC, I'd already put it in paper that, you know what, once I get to NYC, I want to be the president of my CDS. And when I got there, everything was tight. I'm like, wow. So how do we go about this? So I started doing 1 or 2 things that even the president wasn't doing. I want to write a letter, I do it. I want to do this, I do it. I want to do that, I do it. I coordinate, I do this. Everything, call Debbie. In fact, at some point, people started mistaking
Make yourself
me
available as the president.
As the president. And in no time, when I came, I think the president just had about 3 months to go. So by the time when it was time for election, and they were like, a woman cannot be Kineko. In fact, a lady came to meet me. Mama, don't go for president, we don't go vote you. Just be vice. Vice is meant for women. And I'm like, really? Thank you. And I didn't say anything. And guess what? Out of the 112 votes I had that we had that day, I had over 86 votes. And that is to say that most of the men there actually voted me. So that is to say that it's not just enough that we say we want to be this. It's not just enough that we aspire for political position. It has to be by our capacity.
Capacity has to be there.
Yes, it has to be by doing, not just by words. It has to be by action.
Wishes.
And not just by words or wishes.
That's very instructive to know that, we want to go on a short break now, and when we'll come back, the conversation will continue. But it's good to note, and it's quite instructive, where you have ended at this part of your discourse, that nobody will hand anything over to you because you're a woman, or it's the women's time, or because you have to have a soft spot. In spite of the challenges that you talked about, that you faced, In fact, you already planned while you are leaving, that you have your eyes on a goal, and while you are waiting for your time, you put yourself out there. You spoke about writing letters, influence, writing across. In fact, many persons were already thinking, was she our president or not? And so I think that's instructive to say. We go on a short break right now. Stay Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, having a conversation about the International Day of the Girl Child. Babrella is here. Deborah is here as well. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean War had all the nuances of an external conflict induced by powers that were interested in subjugating North and South Korea. Japan had leveraged on its military power to annex Korea in 1900 and imposed a military union that did not sit well with the citizens. Japan not only lost its war of conquest against Korea, all its powers were obliterated by the effect of the World War II. The end of World War II got Korea divided into two nations along 38 parallel lines by the instrumentality of the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. The Korean War lapsed into a Cold War when it stopped the prying eyes of external forces into the internal affairs of a nation now divided along its north and southern territories. Western Spring Television identifies the Korean War as a major event in history. Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history.
where is your go-to destination for quality content on TV. Stop the search and catch us live. Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times. We take pride in delivering top-notch programs that keep you glued to your screen, from juicy entertainment gist to engaging current affairs programs, politics, exclusive news, sports, drama, gossip, music, and hey, your kids are not left out. These are available in English and Yoruba languages. Also get exclusive premieres, captivating documentaries, and thrilling live events only on Western Spring Television on Star Times channel 190. It's either you laugh, learn, giggle, dance, or shout on Western Spring Television. It's no boredom zone. We are value driven. So catch us live on Western Spring Television on Star Times channel 190. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also subscribe and live stream our programs on YouTube. Your television experience just got better. Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Still Morning Spring right here from Western Spring Television, and we'd like to thank you most sincerely for being there with us. Yesterday, October 11th, marked the commemoration of the the Day of the Girl Child, and which was celebrated or commemorated virtually all around the world. And we are is still a part of what we are discussing at this point in time. And two young, amazing ladies, they are not girls though, but they grew from that point, and they're still, at least we will say girls. Babrella, Debbie, both in the house. Thank you, ladies, for taking time out to be with us this morning.
Thank you.
Let's move on here. I want to look at leadership roles. You stated something before we went on that break there, and when you tried vying for the president of your core NYSC stuff, that leadership takes quite a whole lot. But in the midst of where you probably have 90% of the male folk, where equality should speak. In Nigeria today, it takes grace if you have to be governor of a state, you have to be the president of the country, and you are a woman, a lady, the female folk. What can be done to correct this anomaly, whereby I feel it's an anomaly because you're a human being as well, and once you have the prerequisites, you have what it takes to aspire and to govern and to lead. So why shouldn't that person be there? What can be done to change this anomaly, to be able to say, yeah, a lady, a woman, a female can be in this position?
Thank you. First of all, I think we have to start from the roots.
The root?
Yes. Most girls have been told you can be this, even if not directly, subconsciously, indirectly. Some of these girls have been told you can be this, you can be that, you are limited because you are a woman, and all of these things sum together to become this woman, and all of a sudden you want her to think of vying for a post. It's not possible. It's not going to work. So I think the thing has to start from the home. It starts from education in the home. For example, me, I grew up in a right environment where I had good self-esteem. All right. I had the love, the right motivation, the right, I grew up having those things completely. I remember when I was growing up, my dad would be like, my minister. Do you get things like that? And I'd be like, it's not easy. I'd be like, no, you have to put work. You have to learn.
Affirmation.
Words of affirmation. So I had the right self-esteem. I grew up in an environment where women are doing amazingly well for themselves. So do you understand? I have to follow that trend too. So the problem is we have to look into the homes. The home makes a community. The community makes a state. The state makes a nation. So if you're going to correct the abnormality, like you said, we have to start from our homes. You have to train the girl child rightly. You have to invest in her education. You have to invest in her right. You have to invest in everything that concerns her. On the part of the government, you have to implement policies, not just by mouth. You have to implement policies. You have to be genuinely interested and intentional about the girl child. You have to build an enabling environment for the girl child. You just don't come and talk and talk and talk and talk. None of this is going to help. You have to intentionally be interested in what the girl child can be. You have to intentionally take her on the journey to fulfill her potential. So really, this leadership thing, it's not easy. I must tell you, there are days that even as the president, I won't sleep all through the night. You see call members calling you 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I just got to Oshogbo. How do I move? Not 1 day, not 2 days, in a week. So it's not easy. And most girls have been trained that you don't need to do all these things. Just be your gas wife. Just look for one.
And that's what's happening around.
I was in the hostel when I was in school, my 400 level. I was in a hostel one day. I wanted to go get water. And I had a lady clearly saying, as long as say the guy get car, as long as he has a car, then I'm in for marriage. I was shocked by that. Now, let's even leave that. When I was in 100 level, I had a 400 level lady. She came to meet me like, baby, this is happening. I'm like, okay, do this, do this, do this. She's like, no, her mom said she can't do it like that because that means she wants to become more. And for a woman like that, she won't get a husband.
Yeah, the society has gone that far.
Educated lady. She was in 400 level for crying out loud. And I'm like, wow. I didn't know how to tell her that that is a lie from the pit of hell. I just like, well, mommy is somehow right, but why not let's just try this way? At least feel that place first.
All right.
Do you understand?
Deborah, let me take you to Babrella. I feel, or don't you feel rather, that women should start talking to women more? And I say this because they have their ears to themselves. They speak more, they talk more. You know, as they say, we gist more. So why don't you think, and I'm talking the area of mentorship, the older women passing down the right information to the younger generation for them to know that you are more beyond the kitchen thing, beyond the somebody's wife thing. You too can be a high flyer. Women speaking to women. I
agree with you. But the problem is, it's very hard for some women to get direct access to these women that can actually give them the correct education, the right training. Because, okay, you're direct, because some society, for you to reach all these people, of course, there are NGOs, there are non-governmental organizations that go out to train, to teach, but then you have to have continuous access to this information. You have to have, because when you get back
people have community meetings, people meet in the place of worship.
They have community meetings. They have, but all these people are the same community. They are same community, same environment. Yes, they're the same environment. It's ingrained in them. So you're telling them to change something they are already used to, is already in their mind. You have to be there with them for over a year, 2 years. Is that a time? Because some people don't have that time to give out, which is what we want, which is what we are seeking for. The time to give out to these girls, to these children, to these ladies that are growing up, so they can know that they have the right to want anything. They can pursue whatever they want. And people need to, mothers need to understand that they see it as training, abuse, physical abuse, emotional, mental abuse. Although the Child Rights Act, Section 11, already states against it, and of course there are punishments, which is not really being implemented because they will say it's Nigeria. Your mother can say and do anything she wants. She's the one that gave birth to you. But it is not right, because then it affects the child's confidence, self-esteem, and then they begin to do that. They probably had a lot of dreams, aspirations, things they wanted to do, but with the constant what you hear in your environment, what you hear in your homes, of course, will gradually kill that dream.
All right. All right.
And then,
thank you. We really have to
just hold on. Ladies, sorry, Femi. Ladies, we need to be joined at this moment in time by the Senior Programs Officer of Women Arise Initiative, Mr. Olufemi Lawson. He's on the line at this moment in time. Let's just get to hear from him because it is essential, not just the ladies, the men who take cognizance of the importance of good women as well. Good morning, Mr. Lawson. Are you there? Good morning, Mr. Lawson.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being there. Thank you for holding on for us. Great. Let's get your view as the world commemorates the International Girl Child Day. What can be done to actually, what can the women, the female folks, what can they do to achieve their goals in life so that they don't get relegated most of the or all the time?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Most of the International Day of the Girl Child should remind us of the need for every society, including ours, to invest more in the education of the girl child. The place of the women in our society today is no longer in the kitchen or the other room. Today, women are taking leading role in global economy, in global politics, in leadership at all levels. And that should be a reminder to us that we must invest more than we have been doing in the education of the girl child, because the future belongs to the women, whether anybody likes it or not. For a population of people that are higher than that of other demography, we should take seriously their development. And the only way we can ensure the development of our society is by ensuring that we develop the girl child, which in turn becomes the empowerment of our women.
Okay, now let's look at what it looks like as it was commemorated yesterday, and looking at the theme. That part of that theme yesterday speaks about leadership. Why haven't we really got it right in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole? That women, before they can attain that leadership position, they will probably see fire.
Well, what is limiting our women today, particularly in confined position of leadership, cannot be divorced from our cultural orientation, our cultural background. Because that, for us as Africans, for us as Nigerians, we are coming from predominantly a culture that sees the women as peer, not as, main or active, stakeholder in the project of developing our society. But the narrative is changing, and the only thing that can assist in changing this narrative to the level that women cannot begin to be strategically put in position of leadership is education. I keep emphasizing on the education because there is no shortcut to attaining any form of empowerment or development or leadership, as the case is in this matter, without equipping this demography of our population with enough education. It is only an educated set of people that can have the capacity to either occupy leadership position or be engaged in every other productive ventures, just like we are aspiring for the girl child and our women. So, like I said, we cannot completely divorce the fact that our culture, as in the past, as Africans, made the women the second fiddle. But the narratives have to change. We must let the world know that it is no longer the dark ages where women belong to the kitchen or the other room. Now, women must be engaged in playing active role in leadership at all levels in our continent. And like I said, the narrative is changing. Today in Tanzania, you have a woman as president. Today we have a good number of our women in the executive council, in parliaments across the countries of the continent. In Rwanda, there are more women in the parliament even than men. So these are the changes that are beginning to emerge. And I know that with further education and more advocacy, just like the one that your station has been doing effectively, we will be be able to get more women into leadership positions.
All right, Mr. Lawson, one would say, yes, it's about celebrating the girl child, making advocacy for them, fighting for their rights, because this year's theme is talking about rights, talking about leadership, talking about the place of the girl child, and of course, I believe the women as well. But I'd like to ask you, do you think men have a part to play in this? And if they do, what part do they have to play? And I'll give you an example. The pressure, the training, most times is always on the girl child. Then the question is this: who trains the boys as well? Now, when the girl child is being trained to do this, to be a mother, to take a particular position, some would say most times the boy child has just left there to be whatever they want and to have some kind of belief. So how do we tackle that? And number two, what role do our men, you and I, have to play in making sure our girl children are empowered?
But the men have been playing, if you follow the series of international days of women, of the girl child, you've seen men belonging to various organizations and groups championing the cause of the women. The men have been involved in issues of gender-based violence, campaign against gender-based violence, campaign against the rights, of women, against female genital mutilation, and all sorts of issues that affect our women. The men have been playing another, like for instance, I work for Women and Rights for Change Initiative, an organization established by a woman, Dr. Jo Odumake, working on issues of women. And I can tell you that in that organization, we have a lot of men handling key positions in terms of our programs, in terms of our research, in terms of our projects, all working towards advancing the cause of the women. And this is applicable to some other organizations globally. So the men have been doing a lot. We only need to encourage more men, especially those who are not yet educated enough to understand that the position of the women in our society must change and must not be relegated to being in charge of domestic affairs. So this is an advocacy that must be sustained. This is an issue that we must continue to engage ourselves in by ensuring that we let more people understand that the role of the women, the position of the women in the society has changed, not that must change, and they must follow the trend by ensuring that they support women, they encourage them, and they protect women against every form of discrimination that our culture and traditions have placed on them.
Mr. Olufemi Lawson, we'd like to thank you most sincerely because of the want of time, so that we know how busy you are. A big regards to Dr. Jo Odumake and the entire team. Thank you for taking your time to be with us. Thank you. Right, ladies, before we go at this moment, it's going to be our parting shot here from both of you. What can the female folks do to attain higher positions in the sphere of life?
You have 30 seconds?
Go ahead. Debbie.
Okay. First of all, build yourself, work on yourself in all capacity, and learn to serve, most importantly. Because, serve. Because in serving, you get to learn on the job. You get to learn a lot of things. You get to learn capacity building. You get to learn teamwork. You get to learn a whole lot of things.
All right.
And from there,
Babrella?
the sky is just a starting point.
Okay, because you're a girl child, and then there's a lot of advocacy out there. Doesn't mean like everything will be open to you. Everything will be free to you. You need to put in the work, the action, and then you need to have the belief to understand that you can get there as far as you're pushing it and you're letting them see. Tell me, I understand these things cannot be easy for you as a female. That's why you need to do more.
All right.
Be extraordinary. And like she said, serve. In serving, can you be served? In serving, can you show your true capacity and your attributes? So, and yes, when you get there to the point of leadership, every female in the point of leadership should please help others realize their dream. Mentor them. Help others realize their dream and make everything easy.
How high can a girl child fly, Debbie?
There's no limit to that.
There's no limit. There's no limit.
As
Go
high
as
as
high
you
as
want.
go as high as you want.
I like your body language is changing.
You can be more.
All right, thank you, ladies, for
can
Thank you,
coming.
ladies.
Deborah, Soladoye,
Thank you
and
for having
Babrella,
me. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for your time
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
We celebrate you, ladies, and all the ladies
And
in
all
our
the-
lives, and those ones out there.
No doubt
Thank you.
about
And this will be the part, in short, this is what we call it a day on the program today. We'll be able to look about challenges, the prospect, the promise that the girl child possesses. And they have established they can fly as high as they want. Thank you for being part of this program today. The program will return tomorrow for the TGIF edition. Femi Ojo is my name. Please do well to follow us on our social media handles on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And we are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. I'll have a recap of this program as well. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
To the entire transmission team, thank you most sincerely for being a part, and to our guests in the house, and Mr. Lawson as well, who we had via the phone. Tunde Idowu is my name, at Irresistible TD on X. Hey, do well to follow us on all our social media handles. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning.
I will not temper justice with mercy. Don't beg me. Who is that arrogant homo sapien that was part of the production process of bringing this infinitesimal being into this wicked world? Who is that?
Barrister, see am here. Now the man wey give me belle 5 years ago, now be this. Now the girl papa na see am.
We get nothing to talk with that one now. That's not how they behave. Why be say anybody carry belle go find somebody accused? That's not accuse the video. Now I want accuse my friend. We don't go agree. Don't be Hindu. Now lie. Young man, it is crystal clear that you're mentally